While not specifically designed as a solo game, I'm going to do some solo campaign for Burning Banners. This is going to be the introductory campaign, the invasion of Drefeld, and this is going to be basic rules. I'm going to be controlling both Oathborn and Fjordland, so let's go over some of the basics of the game first. I'm not going to cover rules or anything in this video. This is just going to be me playing to kind of keep the rules fresh in my head. If I make mistakes, have them called out so I can solidify and concrete the correct rule in my memory, so when I play the advanced game, it's not so fumbly. The invasion of Drefeld, year 565. The Jarl of Eastern Marches felt that Drefeld should be settled by humans. Ulgor Sundelver, the Dwarven King of Drefeld, objected. The Fjordlands are going to be the invading force. They control the settlements of Norstead and Fartumed, or Fartumed. The resistance force will be the Oathborn, and they only start off with Shaded Vale. Fort Gorad is hostile to both armies. The only settlements that may be attacked or occupied in this are Fort Gorad, neutral to both players, Zarenbar, under the Oathborn control, as well as Shaded Vale, Norstead, Fartumed, and Barless on the Lake, which are all Fjordland. A relatively short map here. The victory condition is at the end of the autumn season. The player who controls the most settlements wins. In the case of a tie, the Oathborn wins. Now, as you can see by the initial setup, the Oathborn are already at a detriment, only having 2 settlements, where the Fjordland starts with 3. The Fjordland also starts with 15 gold and an income of 4. They are the second player, so they'll also get to see what the Oathborn does and react rather than making the initial moves. So, with more money, more income, and an opportunity to see what the Oathborn does, the Oathborn only having 6 gold and going first, it feels as though the Oathborn have an uphill struggle in this match. One of the advantages they have is their units are able to move through mountains without a movement detriment, whereas the Fjordland cannot, but they still have to deal with the opposing armies that are spawned and moved throughout the map. And as I said, this is just the basic game, so there's no army stacks, spells, heroes, or any of the fun advanced stuff. I just really want to get the fundamentals of this game down and play against myself just to see if I can make it without a mistake. If you've watched my HeroScape Common Clash videos, you know that that's not likely. So feel free to correct me or point anything out if you feel like commenting, and I will try and remember that for the next game. And if any tips or information come up that Abbot Demetrius Miletus has to say anything about, I will include those. For example, we use this hex here. Abbot Miletus says the Imperial Cartographers Guild has been granted artistic license. To determine a hex's terrain type, use the center of a hex as your guide. For example, if a hex has a mountain artwork around its perimeter, or in this case a forest, but not in its center, it is not a mountain hex. Ignore roads when making your determination. Hills are not mountains, nor are single-tree forests. Alright, I am ready to begin, and the first step of the turn is the income phase. So with an income of 2, the Oathborn has 2 more jingle to spend on units. Now, I can build units using the cost in the upper left corner to pay for them and deploy them on the map. To which, if you're playing this game, Abbot Miletus also says there's a key concept hidden in the build rules that's easy to overlook. Kingdoms can build armies at any time during their turn. The idea of building first and moving second is such a common mechanism that players will default to it, even though it doesn't apply here. I would urge you to think about when and where to build your armies. Much of the strategy in Burning Banners depends on skillful timing and placement of your builds. So, at the beginning of the activation phase, if I had any units, they would become ready, to which I don't have any, but I can now build new units and activate them one at a time. So I can build, try and invade some cities, and then build off of there, and that is probably what I'm going to do. This city, in the few times I've played, has been notorious for repelling me, so I'm going to try and catch it this time a little early. First off, I'm going to buy this siege engine, and that is going to be 3 gold. Before I deploy it, I apologize for my disgusting hands. I cleaned my lawnmower, so I got grass stains and stuff. and just a few soap scrubbings didn't fix it. But anyway, that has nothing to do with burning banners. I just hate fingers and gross looking hands in videos, so I try to use this. We are going to deploy the siege engine to try and take Fort Gorad. Now, this storm giant, he throws 3 heavy dice, 3 light dice, which would definitely help bust that city up, but he is a large creature, which means it would instantly be razed and destroyed when he entered it. And since I am trying to occupy, and I am at a detriment of 1, I don't want to destroy the settlements, I just want to take them over. So anyway, we paid the 3 gold, and I'm going to deploy my siege engine. It can be in or adjacent to a settlement, so I'm actually going to move it 1, 2, and park it there. And I don't want to invest too heavily into just this fort. I'm going to try and spend 2 gold each. Well, I'll spend 1 gold and deploy a miner, and I'm going to move him towards this here. This is the Dwarven Falls. The miners have a special ability where they perform a mine action and I get gold. So I am just going to move him here and then here, and he is Oathborn, so he doesn't suffer the effect of mountain movement. Actually, I have to take that back. This river here, I would have to cross it and use ship movement. I could move down here freely because that's a source, so water sources don't affect movement, but this hex here up to here would be a river, so I believe it would cost him more to move across that. And here's where you get the mountaineering information on the Oathborn's card. Yeah, river hex side is +1 movement point to cross a river hex side. But now, when I played this with my dad, we had a discussion about ship movement, ending your turn immediately if you do ship movement. But I'm going to look that up because I believe you can separate regular movement and ship movement. It's just your movement ends when you leave the ship. So I got to take a look at that. Well, asked and answered. A ship movement is only a free action to the Fjordlanders, so it would cost movement, an extra movement to get across the river for this guy, so I don't even want to buy him because he can't go mining. 1, 2, yeah, if I spawn this one here because this is a friendly settlement, I can go 1, 2, or this is also a friendly hex, I could put him here. 1, 2, then ignore it. Okay, yeah, I will do that. So not that it's going to do much for me now. I will spawn him here and go 1, 2, because that is a river source, so he can freely move there. And let this river and ship movement discussion be a lesson to you. When your dad has played far more war games and strategy games than you have, don't question it. Just accept it. He is correct. And here's the example of a river source having no effect on play. And I'm going to believe that this is a river source because it's just spilling out of this cave and goes from nowhere. So I'm calling that a source. I deployed him here, and I moved up here. And as an action, he's going to mine, and I get the gold back for him. Now, hopefully this pays off in the future. I'm going to pay another gold and deploy this one here. And go 1, 2, down into the Endless Paths mine. And he is also going to mine and refund his cost. So now I have to deal with Fort Gorad. I don't have enough gold for anything too strong. I'm going to get this Iron Legion here because he throws 2 heavy dice and 1 light die. And he costs the rest of my income. And I have to hope to capture this city. Because if I don't, this is going to be a rough next turn for me because I can't really get anybody else. Now, if I start my movement and end my movement on a road space, it adds +1 movement, but the entirety of my move has to take place on the road. So I'm going to deploy him there. Roads and bridges negate movement penalties only for hex sides crossed. Non-flying units gain +1 movement when moving entirely on road via road and bridge. Now, he only has a movement of 2 spaces. He doesn't have to go too far. We're going to attack Fort Gorad, and it is an empty settlement. However, it is a garrison, so it will still be rolling back at me. Now, this Iron Legion that I bought has no special abilities. However, the siege engine has that. Now, in this fight that I'm about to do, I can potentially do 2 attacks because a siege engine can only use its die to defend against attacks and to attack unraised settlements. That red tower in the corner here is just a reminder of that, but the effect of a siege engine is that it is adjacent to a fortification. It negates the fortification's -1 modifier on my roll. So 2 siege engines adjacent to like a magically fortified settlement would negate both negative modifiers to my roll. So here we are going to attack Fort Gorad. Now when I'm rolling, I have to get a roll of 5+, but when attacking a fortified settlement, the attacker suffers a -1 modifier to its die rolls, so 6+ would score a success. Magically fortified ones would add a -2 modifier to my roll. So, thankfully I have this siege engine here to negate that, so on 5+ I will still hit, and I have 2 heavy and a light die. Now I made a mistake the first time I played this game, as I was having it roll city defense against me, but it is not a city. This star denotes a city. However, it is a garrison, so it is just a settlement, and it doesn't get 3 dice back at me. It will only get 1. Because it is an unoccupied settlement, it has 1 light die on defense. Alright, let's get the 2 heavy and a light die. Rolls of 5 or higher is what I'm looking for. I still missed. Alright, well, now it's going to hit back. And it hits him back. So he is now weakened. Let's take a shot with the siege engine. 6. Alright, so that was a success, but it has a chance to defend. At a 3, it does not. So I take Fort Gorad. And when you defeat a settlement that is unoccupied and there's no defender, you must advance into it. Alright, and when you enter a hostile settlement, you immediately loot it. So a kingdom is going to receive 2 gold when looting. So those miners that did their mining actually did gain some gold this turn. And the Oathborn only get 1 control marker for this mission. The Fjordland have 2 control markers. Alright, so the siege engine is ending its turn in a hostile settlement. So first, it's looted. There's no enemy control marker, so that doesn't happen, any replacement or that. And then if the settlement is loyal to the occupying kingdom or one of its allies, the kingdom's income is increased by 1. So we are going to put my lone control marker over Fort Gorad, and we are going to increase their income to 3. Now, since I am limited on the Oathborn control markers, I kind of want to keep a foothold here. I'm now tied with the Fjordland. Well, no, I'm ahead. 1, 2, and Zanzibar 3. Oh yeah, tied. 3 and 3 is the same. I want to prevent the Fjordland from recapturing any of these. So if I get down here and I can get to Barless on the Lakes and take it over, I want to raise it. I want to destroy settlements now. I want to kind of defend these homelands here and make sure. I don't think in 3 turns any of the Fjordland units can safely get down there. This is going to be a point that's probably not worth contesting. The Fjordlands are going to want to focus on here and keeping this alive. This is probably going to be the hot spot. Now, I can take Abbot Miletus's advice here and buy new units. I don't think I want to, though, because I'm not going to have much gold for the next turn to get some of these heavy hitters. I could buy and deploy some miners and kind of make them roadblocks here. Otherwise, Zarenbar is just going to be taken over. I might want to do that. I get 3 gold next turn. I could get a King's Crossbow. You know, the miner is... no. It's not worth it. The miner only throws a light die. You know, it does get weak. You know, let's kick a buck. I'll buy a miner, and I'll place him in Zarenbar. He's probably not going to cause much of a diversion or anything, or really be that much of a defense, but at least he'll have to be hit twice before he dies. I could also charge the miner up here and try and take control of that. It is only one light die against one light die, but if I do that and he biffs it, that's a full wasted gold there. Well, I could always buy another miner. You know what? Let's try it. It's an unoccupied settlement, so let's see if this miner can take it down. Nope. And nothing back at it. Well, he's moved and he's done. I got one more gold. These dwarves are going to go all out here. Alright, I'm going to deposit him here actually. And then, alright, let's take another shot at this town. Even worse. And same result back. Okay, so we still have a little bit of a wall of units here, although just walk away from it and probably take over that town. But that is turn complete for the Oathborn. And now the Fjordland get to respond. They have an income of 4. Okay, first off, we are going to spend 6 and buy a Berserker. And we'll deploy him here next to Far-Tombed. He's going to go down here and attempt to attack that settlement. So it's going to be 2 heavy and 2 light dice. And he has no special abilities. There we go. That's 2 successes. There's no way this city can defend. 1 success, still outdoes it. And there goes Zarenbar. So we're going to use one of my 2 control markers to put it here. It is immediately looted, so I get 2 gold. And he is done. Okay. Now, we've got enough for another Berserker. I want that siege engine. Got 3 and 3. Alright. I'm going to spend 3 and buy a Sea Reaver. We are actually going to deploy this guy right here in Far-Tombed. See if we can't hack down this miner. 1 heavy, 2 light. 7. That's a critical hit. If a player rolls a 7 when resolving a combat or a strike, a critical hit is scored. A critical hit inflicts 1 hit like a normal hit, plus, if confirmed, it will inflict an additional hit. Critical hits are the only way a strike can inflict multiple hits. And to confirm a critical hit, we will roll a light die. So if a 5 or more is rolled, it is a successful critical hit. 4. Nothing. Still inflicts 1 hit. He's got to defend. 5. Ah! There goes that. I was hoping to kill this miner here. I'd get 2 hits on him and kill him. Buy a siege engine. Move it down here. Buy another Sea Reaver, kill this guy here, if I could, and then buy a Berserker and try and take Fort Gorad. So now, this wall of miners throws that plan out the window, so I have to do something else. I am going to instead buy another Berserker. No, let's buy, I don't need the siege engine. That's 7 gold. 2. Buy a freeholder. Alright. We're going to spend 7 and buy the Draken. And we will deploy him by Barless on the Lake right there. Now, he's got some abilities. He's got Strike, Ranged Combat, and Flight. I'm sorry, Stealth, not Strike. So first, if an army has Stealth, it may declare an ambush during the combat phase. When an ambush is declared, instead of rolling dice simultaneously, the side with Stealth strikes the opposing stack, rolling dice equal to its combat rating. Then, if the target survives, it strikes back using its combat rating. If both sides in combat have Stealth, neither side may declare an ambush. And then Ranged. During combat, an army with Ranged wins ties, inflicting 1 hit on the opponent. If both sides in combat have Ranged, neither player wins ties. Ranged has no effect when resolving an ambush. A unit with Flying may not move through a hex that contains an enemy army with Ranged. So yeah, we are going to attack with stealth. So we've got 2 heavy and a light. There's 1 success. So it inflicts a hit. Now, it survived, so it will be able to attack back. So it will do 5 hits back. All right, Draken. That miner could end up killing you. Okay, not making any headway here. At least the way that I hoped to. Okay, we will now... 3, 4, 5. We will buy a Valkyrie. Alright, or Valkyrie, however you want to say it. We'll put it here. We'll send the Valkyries to here. That's 1, 2, 3. We are going to... actually, I'm friendly to this settlement with flight. I don't have any movement penalties, I believe. I might be able to swing down here and get Shaded Veil right where I said a unit can't make it to. So, because it has flying, it may enter any terrain type on the map during movement, except layer hexes, ignoring terrain costs. When moving, it may pass through a hex containing an enemy army or hostile settlement, unless an enemy army in the hex has flying arranged. When attacking across a river or major river hex side, its opponent does not gain the terrain modifier, and it may attack across sea hex sides. Okay, so yes, I do want to deploy here and fly 1, 2, 3. We will fly down here and attempt to take Shaded Veil. Got a heavy and 2 lights. And that is 3 misses. And a miss back. Well, you got no gold, and you are out of moves. Well. Thus ends the Fjordland's turn. It is now summer. The Oathborn go. Income is 3. Now they can react here. Now I can disband my siege engine, which I'm going to do, so it goes back onto the map here. So income is gained. That's all for that. Activation phase. All of these units will ready up. Okay. First off, these miners are going to do some mining action here. I'm not going to try and attack the Draken with a miner because he doesn't have ambush or anything that'll really survive that if that Draken swings back. I can recover the Iron Legion. That's his action, though. Recovering is paying the active unit's recovery cost to return it to full strength. It must be in or adjacent to an unbesieged, unwelcoming settlement or in a friendly entry hex. I am actually short 1 gold. They took over the city here, so my control marker was removed, technically, and I lost an income. Now, I couldn't find it, so I'm going to ask it on Board Game Geek, but since this had a control marker to the Oathborn, it doesn't say what happens when the marker is removed, if it goes back to the owner in their general supply like units and things do, or if it's out of the game. I'm not quite sure. I know they started with 1 extra one, which I was able to put on Fort Gorad, but now that I lost this one, I don't know if I can use it. I'm going to, for the sake of this game, I mean, it's only 2 more turns, so, or this turn and the next, that I can do stuff with, so it's probably not going to make too much of a difference, but I do want to know that, what happens to a control marker when it's removed. Also, there's an errata file. An owner of a control marker can no longer voluntarily raise their own cities to get control markers back. So, I suppose that answers my question right there. If raising a city returns a control marker voluntarily, having it removed by an opponent would probably do the same thing. I'm still going to ask, though, just for clarity. And Abbot Miletus says that control markers represent the administrative limits of a kingdom. When a control marker is placed on a settlement, the local government is replaced by a military authority. When the control marker is removed, the settlement, as well as having been stripped of resources by the military, is left essentially ungoverned. Until local rulers re-establish their authority and settlers return to the plundered countryside, the town or city no longer functions as a community. Alright, well, we've got 4 gold to play with. I don't want to waste 2 to recover this dude. The miners already took their action, so they are essentially done. I got these 2 miners here. I got this Iron Legion. Alright, we've got a movement of 2. We're going to go 1, 2, and 1, 2. Let's see if we can get an attack here. No. Okay. Gotta play this a little smart here. He's got a movement of 2 with the road bonus. Okay, we want to move this guy. And he's probably going to die here, but let's take a swing at this Sea Reaver. 2, and Sea Reaver is going to Empire Strikes Back at 4, 3, and 1. Okay, nothing, but he is exhausted. But let's move this Iron Legion up here. 1, 2, and with the entirety of my move being on road. Oh, it says don't use roads when determining the terrain type. No, this would still be road. I'm going to say that here to here, because there's a road here and a road in this hex, it's going to be total road movement. So he's going to take the extra move. It's probably not going to make too much of a difference. Iron Legion attacking the Sea Reaver. And 3, 1, 4. Nothing. Yeah, it's probably... And a critical hit. So 2 successes back. He was already weakened. He's out of here, and I believe that seals the fate of the Iron Legion. Or the... Yeah, well, the Iron Legion and the Oathborn in general. These dwarves have such a hard time with this. Got 4 gold. Spend the 4 gold. Deploy it here from Fort Gorad. And 1, 2. Didn't help at all. Let's do this here. This miner's going to go here. We'll wait because we won't go out of turn here. This miner is done. This miner is done. This miner is going to attack this berserker. Desperation. Berserker counterstrikes. Nothing. Okay, well, dice cup down. Now this guy being deployed will go here, and he's got to hope to inflict 2 hits and survive against this berserker. There's 2 and a critical. And a successful critical. That's 3 hits. Okay. If this dude only blocks 1 of these, he's dead and this city is looted. He blocked 1. He's out. He still gets 2 hits. He's gone. Berserker goes in. This guy moves in. This is looted. That their income would have been 5, so it drops back down to 4. And we have conquered this. It is back to welcoming and friendly. The income goes up by 1. We will loot it. Or do I want to raise it? I could place a raised marker. No, it's welcoming. I can't raise a welcoming city. I believe that's one thing I did read, is you can't burn down a welcoming city. Hey, you saved us! Now burn! Alright, well, he's done. He's done. We got 2 gold. And we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 on 3. I don't want to blow my cash on miners. But I've got to. I've got to buy a miner here to occupy that. And we'll buy another, we'll spend, I don't know why I'm putting gold back in, we'll put another miner there. Okay, that is going to be turn complete for the Oathborn. Fjordlands, income of 4. Ready up units. I've got 4 gold. And I've got an army to deal with here. Okay, we're not going to try and take out this miner. This is already weakened. We're just going to fly 1, 2, 3, and we're going to attack this city here. And that's a critical. Ooh, 3 hits. This guy can't defend against it. So, 1, 2, 3. Miner is out. And this thing moves in, and it is huge, so this is raised. And here's the example. Huge armies are gigantic creatures that tower over the landscape. If a huge army occupies a settlement, the settlement is raised, regardless of its posture. A settlement may not remove a raised marker while a huge army occupies that hex. Now, the Fjordlanders just took this city, but the advice that Abbot Miletus gives is that recolonizing a raised settlement involves sending refugees back to rebuild their destroyed homes and farms. Without ample protection and investment, particularly in the face of rampaging orcs, this invites additional attacks. Often it is best to ignore the pleas of displaced civilians and leave an orc-infested province denuded of settlers until the threat has passed. So, they're probably not going to get this back. The Draken has raised Shaded Veil, and we will send the Valkyrie up here. 3, and we'll get an attack on the Fort Gorad here, I think. Well, we're going to do this. 3 of the gold, and we will deploy because that's not friendly. I can go here. The siege engine, we'll deploy it there. And I believe it was a siege engine can only attack an unoccupied garrison. The miner is probably no different. I think my camera was horizontal there for a minute. But the miner is probably no different than just leaving the city unoccupied, because now that it has a unit in it, well, it's not a city. The settlement, leaving the settlement unoccupied, it now has a unit, so that nullifies the garrison it would have. But that means I don't have to do, the siege engine doesn't need a roll there, or doesn't need to be there for the modifier. Well, yes it does. It is fortified regardless of whether or not there is a garrison in there, so the modifier would apply, and the siege engine can attack. It is an unraised settlement. There's no way this miner can hit back. Well, I mean, it can hit back but not destroy the siege engine, so well, the Valkyrie, this is done. And I've only got 1 more gold with them, not anything worth it. Let's move the Valkyrie here and here. Heavy, light, light. And that's a 6 and a 5. 2 successes. And a 6. 1 success back. So the miner takes a hit. This is done. The Sea Reaver is going to attack that miner there. Heavy, light, light. Ooh. It's a critical. This was an 8. So that is a confirmed critical. 4 hits. This dude is dead no matter what. Even if he hits back, he doesn't do any damage. That miner is out. You're done. And turn complete. We are now in autumn. And it is a 3-turn thing, so everybody gets 1 more turn. Alright. Let me just make sure that that income is correct. 1, 2. It is not correct. Okay. So their income is 2. They get 2 gold. We'll ready up our units. That miner served its purpose, I guess. Alright. We've got 2 gold. So I could move this miner here and try and take Barless on the lake. But instead, they're going to mine 2 gold. We will move the Iron Legion down here. 2 heavy and a light. And that's 1 success. It is unoccupied, so it has a garrison of doesn't matter. And I said I'm going to keep the control markers. Their income goes down to 3. Their income increases to 4. We will loot it. 1, 2, 3, and 2. We've just got to hold them off now. So instead of trying to get too many settlements, you're done. 6. I've got 6 gold. I can't mine and then move, because I would have moved him, gone in and did another mine. Can I? Nope, right there, in black and tan. An active unit may perform one of the following actions after it has completed its movement. So no secret double gold move. I wanted to buy this storm giant. All right, before I buy anything, let's use excuse me, let's use the units on the board. We'll go here with this miner, and we'll attempt a shot at this guy. 6. Success. How did that happen? Okay, well, there's a critical. So there's 1 back. Not confirmed, but canceled each other out. I want to get this dwarf out of here. Well, 1, 2. We're going to attack the siege engine. I don't want to send the miner after that Valkyrie. That's a good way to die. This probably is too. She's already wounded. Yeah, 4. Okay, well, nothing. Okay, you guys are done. You're done. Now I've got gold to mess with. Alright, here's a tough choice that is probably going to seal the fate of the Oathborn. Yeah, it's probably better to defend my city than it is to try and take this settlement. So we're going to spend 5 and buy an Oath Taker to go there. If this was the advanced game, we could stack units in there, but it's just basic, so no stacking guys up. I got 1 gold left. I will buy a miner and just, well, place him there. Yeah. Okay, well, this miner isn't going to do too much. We'll move him here and attack the siege engine. Nothing. Nothing back. Okay, well, that is not the turn yet. We will, well, if I kill it, yeah, we'll attack the siege engine with the Oath Takers. We have to do something here. So that's going to be 2 heavy, 2 light. And there's a critical, confirming it. Nope. 2 hits on the siege engine. 6. Blocks 1 of them. So it is destroyed. It is not weakened. So it's gone. That is great. And that is turn complete for the Oathborn. Now, just to make sure, 1, 2, their income should only be 2. One, 2, 3. Yeah, because this is out of their control. Zarenbar, 1, 2, 3. Well, I mean, there's 2. If they take this, they win. There was this guy, this is... Fjordland's gonna win. I'm almost positive. We got 2 gold. Fjordland's gonna win. I'm kind of sure. Right. You know, you can fly. We're not going to try and attack a garrison city. Ready up your units. And we will do... Can a flying unit fly over a settlement? No flying or ranged. So yes, it can go through here, and we will go 1, 2, 3... What's the point of that? I was hoping to get here, but that's 4 hexes away. So I guess try and take Fort Gorad, I guess. Heavy and 2 lights. So there's nothing else I can do with this thing. Okay, so taking a step back and looking at the board as it is now. The Fjordlands are set to win. However, some strategic errors may result in the Fjordlands making themselves lose. For example, the Draken can get to Zarenbar, but if it attacks it and succeeds, that raises this settlement and would put it back to 2 each, and the Oathborn win. I'm going to try and send the Draken up here to see if it can weaken the Oath Takers to where the Valkyrie can take this settlement here, because same situation, this would raise, and I would have to be able to take this, and I've only got 3 gold, so if this guy misses, and I send in another one and he misses, which is highly unlikely that 6 dice are going to miss against 1, that's also a loss. So we will not be sending the Draken up there. Just take your time to analyze your moves. Don't just assume victory. We are going to move the Draken here, and we are going to try and attack there. Now we have stealth, so we are going to attack with an ambush. I believe, can I attack an ambush on a settlement? Now, I did the ambush incorrectly when the Draken attacked this miner. However, the result would still be the same as if I did the ambush right. If I ambush here, I roll my whole combat rating, but the maximum hits I can inflict without critical is 1. So I'd rather just, this thing's already wounded, go all out and attack here. 2 heavy and a light, we are just going to attack, and I win ties, inflicting a hit on the opponent if he ties me. So we've got 1 critical that we're going to try and confirm. There's a critical hit confirmed, so that's 2. He's got 2 heavy, 2 light. And that was a 6 and an 8. It is fortified, so it would have to be a 6 and an 8. Although fortifications don't modify critical hits, so the 8 was still a success, and the 6 would not be modified by a fortification roll. That's one thing you have to remember. And we've got a 6 and an 8 back. Another critical. And confirmed. The Draken is not tying. It is dying. Oath Takers, keep the city. Alright, we'll still probably be able to take this one. I'm not too worried about a loss here, but the Valkyrie are going to attempt an attack. And there's a 6. This doesn't matter because of the fortification, so there's 1 success. And 6, 5, so 2 hits. 1 goes back to the Valkyrie. Alright, we are going to go down here to 1, 2. We'll go here and attack. Heavy, light, light. It's just 1 die. Can you do it? There's 2 successes. It can't even defend back. It fails. We move in. We put a control marker. We increase the income. They lower their income. And we will end our turn promptly because 3 beats 2. The Fjordland is victorious. Despite the resistance of Ulgor Sundelver, the Jarl of the Eastern Marches has been successful, and humans now settle the land of Drefeld. The Oathborn have been repelled, and the Fjordlands have expanded their territory.